Options on TradingView is something that users have been screaming for a very long time. Now that they're finally here, let's unpack these new features and see just how helpful they actually are when it comes to your option trading. So the first thing we need to do is go find the new options trading section. And when you go into TradingView on the home screen here, the main tab, go to products, hover over it, don't click it now, just hover over it. And you can see that options down here at the bottom is in the beta or the test phase. Click on that to open up the new options features. So this is the homepage of the options strategy builder inside TradingView. And what I'm going to do here, just to make it a bit more easy to read, I'm going to take away my watch list on the right side by just clicking in the top right-hand corner and clicking on that little blue box. Watch list is now gone, and now we're back into this full screen of the option strategy builder. You can see that I'm currently showing that Meta is the ticker in question selected there. We've got a strategy builder button, a chain button, and a volatility button, which we'll all go through in a moment. For now, I want to show you how to click on search different companies in here. If I have Meta shown right now, I click on this little hourglass here on the left-hand side. That's going to open up a new window for you to go through and select different stocks, different futures, different indices as well. And you can sort these subsections even further by country, by type, by sectors, by clicking on these drop-down panels. Now, again, this is a beta version, so you may be wondering why there's only 2 different NASDAQ stocks in this stocks area. That is because, again, it is just in the test stage of this product, and hopefully this means more will be rolled out in the future. We're going to click on all just to give you the idea that there's a SPY there, there's Nifty, there's QQQ, there's a couple different products you may be interested in. And again, you can search and buy stock, futures, indices to filter them by those different categories. Let's keep it on stocks for now, keep it on Meta. And there's actually some cool features here that I want to show you and dive a little bit deeper into. The first one being just how this kind of long call, short call, all these different strategies here work. And the chart that you're seeing on the right-hand side, let's walk through that to start. So first pro for this new feature, long call and bullish with a little bit of a blurb about what that strategy is. That's great for newer options traders kind of get into the flow of what these things actually mean. The simplest strategy to realize a bullish outlook on the underlying instrument price, AKA you're going to buy a call. If the stock price goes up, you make money. If it doesn't, you're going to lose money. Now, what you want to do here is go through this. You can look at the bullish ones, you can look at the bearish ones and go through and you can get a little bit of an idea of what they all are, again, which is a great feature to have. But if you want to go through it and kind of sort these a little bit quickly, you can do this by clicking up here, all bullish, neutral, bearish. So if you want to take a bullish stance, clicking bullish is going to allow you to sort all of the different options strategies by the bullish tag. So when the market's going upwards or the price is increasing, these are the strategies that you should, in theory, be looking to use. If it's neutral or the market's not moving at all, you can look on the neutral strategies. And if it's a bearish or a downtrending market with prices decreasing, click on the bearish tab there to get some bearish option strategies. And I'm going to show you how to kind of save these and tailor them to your needs in a moment. Let's hop back into our all and look at the long call because it is basically the simplest option strategy out there. You buy a call, the price of the stock goes up. Again, you make some cash. So we've got this pretty little chart over here. We've got some other things I want to walk you through before we get into what the actual chart is representing. That being the expiration date, the strike price, the size, and the Greek, which is not super important, but it is there to give you some context. Expiration date first up here, the drop down, you can select any expiration date that you want to within reason. We're going out a couple years. There was some leads at the bottom, 837 days. I've selected as a default here, 18 days away, September 20th. That's kind of the third trading day in the month, which usually has the most volume. But again, if you change the expiration date, the chart information is going to change as well. Let's keep it on September 20th, 18 days away for now. You also have a strike price down here. 520 is right around that underlying price of 521. You can go up, you can go down, you can change it up with whatever strike price you want to look at as well when you're building out a potential options trade in TradingView as well. Let's keep it at 520 for now. And then size of 1 does not mean 1 share. It means 1 option contract, 1 long call contract, which is made up then of 100 shares because, as you may or may not know, each options contract is made up of 100 shares. So 1 contract equals control of 100 shares. And then you have the Greeks there. You can pull this tab down and you can go delta, you can go gamma, you can go rho, theta, vega, whatever you want to do for the main Greeks there. Again, I don't think this is a critical one to understand or know, but it is there if you want to plot, and you will plot these on your chart, whichever one you choose to look at. That just comes in as this yellow line right there. At the bottom, there's also some different interesting amounts at the bottom there. And what you're going to need to know is that there is underlying price here on the left-hand side. You have the max profit there showing unlimited in this example, which gives you a little tidbit of information. If you hover over the question mark, if you're not sure, maximum possible profit for the strategy. If you click on that, it's going to open up a little dialog box, which is actually a really nice feature for those of you trying to understand options a bit better. It gives you the theoretical maximum loss and profit of this strategy. So it is tailoring this kind of knowledge stuff to newer traders by having this feature in this platform. Max loss, should be self-explanatory. The maximum you can lose for the strategy is negative $1,200. Your win rate is the percentage chance of you winning the trade or being profitable. Again, that's confirmed by, that little drop down with the question mark. The break-even price is the price that your trade or the underlying stock has to hit for the trade to be profitable. So 532.9, that's currently at 521. So it's got to go up about $11 to be a break-even rate. And delta shown down here, it is the rate of change of the options contract in relative speaking to the underlying price, meaning if the underlying price of Meta goes up by $1, the option contract, this long call option contract that you've created here, is going to go up by 53 cents. So you're going to capture about 53% of that option move. And if we hover over and expand this, we can see a bit more granular definition of that delta measurement. We also have gamma over here on the right side, and you can filter through a few more of the Greeks. If you want to get into that, you can see what those are as well with the different kind of highlights there. Volatility, time decay, sensitivity to change in delta. And there's that little button here, the left and the right button to get you back and forth on the bottom of the breakdown. Now let's get into the actual meat and potatoes of this chart, what it's actually representing. So we have a call option that's expiring in 18 days. Okay, if I hover over any part of this chart, I'm just going to go right to the break-even point, which is on this chart as this little gray dot here. I'm going to hover over that. And what it's going to say is that on my legend, the underlying price, which is just our kind of vertical dashed white line, that's showing you the price of Meta. If we're there and it's 532.6, we have a current P&L, like if this was to happen like right away, we'd have a P&L of 596.45, and there'd be an expiration P&L, meaning that if it stayed at this price until expiration, we would end up losing about $35 on this trade. The delta is around 67 there, and you have the probability there of it going up, going down, 63.5, 36.5. That'll always balance out to 100. And now as you move this cursor over to the right, the probability is going to go and change. The delta is going to change. The P&L is going to change. The underlying price is also changing as we go up and up and up. And as you know, if you buy a call option and the price goes up, you're going to make more and more money almost infinitely until the price just stops going up and hits the cap, and then you're priced out. If you go back down past the break-even mark, right, you're going to be getting into negative profit territory or negative loss territory. And the further that you go down and down and down, right, you're going to go all the way down. But you do hit a loss potentially at the max there of $12.94, which is the price that you would pay for this call option. So if I leave it right there, you're showing it's at a price of $500. So if Meta goes from 521 down to 500, you would have a current loss on this position of negative $900. But if you wait until expiration, again, because it's in the negative, it would lose the full value of the contract, which is $1,294. And the delta there at 24, showing you that the delta is not really going to change that much as the stock price of Meta goes up and down. If I flip it all the way down to the other side, again, we're hitting our max loss at the end here, 470. If the price went way down there, there'd be a very small chance of profit on this trade. But anywhere that it's showing red here, it's showing you that it's in a loss at expiration. The break-even point right there shows you where it's kind of going to start being positive. Anything on the right side is the money. Anything that the kind of green shaded area is profit. Anything in the red shaded area is loss. And you've got the current P&L plotted there, again, in the blue checkered line, and the orange checkered line is the delta, or again, the gamma or the rho. You notice that the profit and loss areas don't change. It's just that that plotted line will change based on the Greek that you're displaying on the chart. And if you're still not really sure what calls are or how puts work, and you want to go through and master the basics of options, the easiest way to do it is with my Options Academy course, currently offered at a 50% discount for a limited time. You can check it out with the card right there, or click the link in the video's description to check out more details. So you may have seen a create button over here on the left-hand side now for a little while, sticking out there at you. And we're going to go through this in a second, but this is how you go ahead and save and kind of save your option strategies for future trading. And I'm going to show you that in a second. Before that, I just want to pop into the option chain, show you volatility, and show you how to view these option contracts in a chart, which is another new feature tied to this option product on TradingView. So first, the option chain. This, if you've done options before, should look pretty similar. There's calls and puts, calls on the left side, puts on the right side. It's going to give you a lot of information here, the strike price, the IV, which I actually really like, showing the IV down the middle for each strike price, just the implied volatility percentage. And it gives you the bid ask, which just means the cost that's kind of being thrown out by buyers and sellers for this option contract price, both on the put and call side. The actual price right now, currently where it's kind of sitting at, you've got the delta, the gamma, theta, rega, and rho again on both sides. You can scroll up, you can scroll down. You can't really manipulate this any more than that, aside from just picking different expiration dates. You can go through and cycle through to see maybe looking at the volatility in here. If you see the IV is going to pop up, maybe around earnings or a big kind of economic announcement, the IV is going to pop up from 24 to 30, let's say. And you may be having some increased premiums. There's a good one in November. It goes up to 36%. So that we're really popping up in terms of time. So something's happening this week where it goes from 35 at that 520 in October. The month before, we're still down about 26. So something happening right there in November. That's how I would use this as kind of a quick little guide visually to see where the IV is at if you want to do that. But at the very least, you can track option pricing. You can see kind of where things are at. You can look at the Greeks if you want to. If you want to highlight certain levels of delta, let's say, if you wanted to be a put seller and be a bit more bearish in that sense, you can look at deltas, let's say, that are under 20. So if you want to go negative 20 or less delta, you could be up here, 495, 490, 485 checks the mark. Conversely, if you're going to maybe sell calls, you want to check that delta as well the same way. You can go in here and say delta 20, okay, 550 hits the mark, 555 hits the mark, 0.16, 560, but you can go through this and just filter through the option chain to see where the numbers are at to get a quick little visual inside TradingView of where these option contracts are sitting at. Pretty cool tool in here to visually see some things. Beyond that, this is probably where I would put the actual functionality to trade options when that comes down the pipe. Next up, we've got volatility. And this one, I'm kind of mixed feelings. What it's showing you right there is the volatility for different prices here, different strike prices. Again, for the September 27th expiration date, you're seeing the strike prices along the bottom, and you can see that there's a volatility rate, the implied volatility rate kind of moving along as we go through these options prices. You can click on different dates, and that'll going to give you more volatility numbers kind of plotted on this chart. And if I'm being totally transparent in what I think of this, I don't really understand why this is important right now, especially when you can't plot historical volatility against some of these options. And I would rather see the option for the actual stock itself versus the underlying option strike prices, which makes a bit more sense to me to see the volatility for the stock versus the options. I think most people would agree that you're trading volatility on the stock itself, not on the option contract. But hey, I could be wrong here. There could be some really granular people that are really into these kind of numbers. It's a boon for you. So if it is, it is. But I don't see a lot of value in it myself. But you do have the ability to kind of plot different ones in there. And you have a maximum of 5 right now that you're going to be showing on the graph. And again, as you move out in time or just move your cursor to the right or left, those values are going to change based on the options implied volatility at that strike price and at those expiration dates. If you want to take them off, just click them again. And again, you'll be left with 1 or 2 at the very end, whichever you want to look at. Now for the option contracts on your super charts, what you can do is go to products again and go to super charts. And this is your standard super chart setup, whatever you may have laid out here. If you go to the top left corner and go into the little ticker again, symbol search, if you go into options right here on the right-hand side, boom, you're going to see that AMD currently has no options. So what we can do though, is we can click on Meta because we know that Meta has options. And now we can actually go in and we can filter through and see the value of these option contracts. You've got call options right in here. You've got put options in here, and you've got multiple different expiration dates coming through. If we keep scrolling down and down and down, we're going to be going further out in time. If you wanted to quickly filter through options, you could go Meta options September, and that's going to show you all the options for September. And that's an easy way to kind of filter through. If you want to go by date as well, you could do that again by the date. Let's go by September 20th. And there's Meta options for September 20th. You've got the call options, the put options. You're going to be able to go through and filter those as well, but let's just keep it at Meta for now. And let's select one to show you what the chart is capable of showing you. Again, we know that Meta's price is right around the 520 area. So let's pick on this 520 call option. Click there. Now what it is showing, if I zoom in here, is a daily candlestick chart with the price of the actual call option contract shown on your TradingView chart. You can manipulate this, you can draw on it, you can do whatever you want to do. You can do any kind of line work that you would do normally. You can put on trend lines, whatever. It's all the same functionality as your regular super chart for the price of a stock, except now you've got the September 6th, 2024 call option. Let's actually move this out to the, let's move it out to the September 20th. And we're going to keep on going down here. Got August, November. These actually aren't searched very well. Let's go into options, 20 September 2024 call. And let's go to, again, let's go to the 520 area. There we go, boom. This one's, now it's 20th of September, and it's got a little more information. It's actually going to plot out there until we get to our main day of September 20th, which is right around this expiration date right here. So that's where it's going to get to. And it's going to run up to that expiration date. You'll be able to see the data daily. You can change it to 15 minutes. You can change it to whatever timeline you want to see. It might be a little bit choppy in here just because there's not as much volume on the options themselves versus underlying stock trades. You know how the volume bars are going to be a bit more filled in for your actual underlying prices, but you do have the ability to now go ahead and chart your options data on the actual contracts you want to chart. Is this a positive thing? Honestly, I don't use this myself when I'm doing my options trading. I don't really see the need to chart the price of the option contract. I would chart the price of the underlying stock. So Meta itself, by clicking up here in your watch list and going to the Meta chart, I wouldn't look at the option contract value. I would much rather look at the stock value and chart the stock to see where my kind of like stop losses, maybe take profit areas, that kind of thing. I wouldn't look at the option contract value itself, but it is there if you want to look at it and use it in this manner. So to each their own. I don't see a lot of functionality with this yet. And again, I don't use option kind of contract plotting any platform that I trade on, but it is there if you want to get into the details again on the chart and plot the price of an option contract for yourself. Now, there's one other way to get to the option data for an underlying stock. The way to do this is to go back to your home page for TradingView and click over here and just go to home in the top left corner. We're going to leave. And let's go in here. Let's just search on Tesla this time. And what we want to do is just go to the overview page, just go to the actual like home page for Tesla. And you can see here on the homepage for Tesla, or it'd be the same for Meta right now, you have the option to do all these financials, news, ideas, mind, technical forecast. And at the very end, you now have the ability to trade and look at options data for Tesla. And what this is showing you again is the options chain specific for Tesla. It also goes down. Same thing we saw before for Meta. You can manipulate this as any way you want to see the same data going out any further in time that you want to. You can scroll through up and down, seeing the different expiration dates, data, bid ask, all that stuff. And if we go down a bit further, we have the volatility, implied volatility chart, showing you the percentages of the different strike prices when it comes to IV. You can add and delete as many lines as you want to, up to 5, and put those on off just to see the volatility of the underlying contracts. And at the very bottom here, we have the ATM IV term structure. And I didn't know what this was, and I had to Google it. And so what I came up with, the at-the-money implied volatility term structure. In layman's terms, it is a way for traders to look at the volatility of contracts expiring in 1 week at the bottom here, 2 weeks, 1 month, 2 months, and the current contracts that are at the money or at the current stock price. So at around the 214 level of Tesla, any kind of option contract around that 214 level, the volatility is shown on this chart right now. 2 months away, 54%, 1 month away, 46%. So that change in volatility from 46 up to 54, that may be something that analysts, traders want to look at in terms of the increasing volatility. So maybe there's something happening within that month gap that is jacking up the volatility around that 214 level. So that could lead to some further price movement, some further technical analysis, some further going into the rabbit hole to understand why the volatility is changing. Usually there's some kind of unknown in the market that leads to an increase in volatility. And it's understanding kind of this chart just gives you a quick idea of, hey, there may be some increasing volatility here. Maybe worth checking it out a bit further down the rabbit hole to see why that's happening. And beyond this chart on the page, just a bunch of random junk you don't need to worry about. It's all about just loving TradingView, getting some notoriety for the platform. So let's go back to our initial setup and show you a little bit more about how to create those kind of custom trades and have them saved for your review later. We're going to hop back to TradingView right there. We're going to go to products again, and we're going to go to options. And our meta trade is back on the screen, which is great. Now we can go in here and we can actually create some trades that we want to save a little bit later on. So if I like this September 20th, 2024 trade, and it's a 520 strike, and I like all this stuff, and I think, okay, this is a good trade for me, and I want to save this and just kind of take it. Maybe I want to do my actual trading on a different platform, but I have this kind of as the research part of it, that this is what I want to do. I can create this by clicking this create button right here. and create a copy. Let's say long call, first trading view trade. Okay, and we're going to save that. Now we've got this long call first trading view trade. And if I go and let's say I go and look at Tesla right now and I change this up and I go back and look at some short calls and I want to go back to my initial setup and I want to make the trade on Meta, I can go back in here and just say, hey, where's my Meta? That's right there. Okay. If I go back into strategy builder, it's there. If I go into volatility and come back, it's there. And I can add a strategy as well into this long list. And I go back to my strategies here if I want to flip back and forth. So I'll always have this long call in there. But if I click on add strategy, I go back to my actual list of strategies. I can add more to the gambit if I want to do a couple bullish, a couple bearish, one of each. Maybe it's a bit of a mix. I can keep adding these strategies. If I want to do, let's say, a short call as well, I can create a short call, trade 2, save that. Now, let's say I wanted to go and adjust this a bit more because I didn't have the idea right in my head and I wanted to change it from a strike price of 520 to 500, let's say. And then I wanted to change the size from 1 to 5. You can do that and update it. And this is all going to change on your chart as well in here. You can change the price. You can change the expiration date. Let's go out to October 18th. It's all going to change. It's all going to, you can buy and sell it, right? Change it up from a short call to a long call. Just keep that as an S for now if you want to keep it as a short call. What you can do then, you can change it from a put to a call, whatever you want to do. Like, there's lots of ways to manipulate this and just manipulate this setup to get it the way you want to. Then you can rename it. You can make a copy. You can delete it if you want to. And a somewhat nice feature to have as well is to open this up and just go this little square here. It'll pop open to a short call and give you a bit more of a linear look at what this is going to entail. You can actually add a new position here as well and add some more into this little short call trade, just an idea to kind of build it out. Maybe you want to do a iron condor in here. You want to do a credit spread in here, something like that. You could do that in here. And then we could just go back and you can click these buttons if you want to remove them. Just remove it from this trade. And then you can go back with this X button in the top right corner. The other cool thing is that, again, remember, you can go back from one to the other. You can add multiple ones for different companies. Let's create one more for Tesla. Long call Tesla. We're going to keep this just at the way it is. So we're going to keep that 215 there. But if we want to go back again to Meta, and we've got a couple strategies there, you can see that we've got the chart right here for our current short call. If I go to long call, it's going to update to our long call. If I want to plot them both against each other, which is actually a pretty cool thing to do, you can click this little chart button right there. And this is going to add my short call trade on top of my long call trade to get a really good graphical representation of where this is going to go. And again, you've got current P&L, expiration P&L for both of these trades, and it's going to change and fluctuate as you go through this. So let's say if we want to build this out and actually do a real example, let's say we want to go super bullish on a stock. Let's just get rid of these right now. We're going to remove, and we're going to remove this as well. And our chart's going to show nothing now. So if we add a strategy, we can delete this, delete this. Those are both gone. So let's create a actual scenario. We want to go super bullish on Meta's stock. Let's create this trade. Let's keep this one the way it is. Okay, let's keep the Meta and let's keep the 520 strike price and say, okay, let's go bearish or bullish here. Create this one, long call, bull 1. And let's also say at the same time we want to, when we're buying this call, we want to actually sell a put on this as well. So we're going to add a strategy. And we're going to sell a put here. We're going to go short put, bullish, right? And we're going to go with the 460 strike price. Again, 18 days away, that's fine. And we're going to go create short put trade, bull trade 2. Okay, and save. And now we're going to go into our strategies here. And now we have 1, we've got 2. And if we want to plot them together, and what this chart is showing us now is a couple different things. We've got our blue line there, which is our short put that we sold. We've got the orange lines that show us our long call that we bought. Both are bullish, and they have different break-even points highlighted again in those gray areas. If you move your cursor right to left, again, you're going to get the different P&L statements coming up for the underlying price movement. You can note where the actual profit and loss is going to be at expiration for both of them with the solid lines. The dotted lines are the current. If the stock price was to magically move that price right now, this is where you would be left with your current position. And again, the short put, you can go all the way down to about 460-ish and still be profitable. The long call, you want to be profitable. You have to be, the price has to go up. That's basically how it has to work. The price has to get to a certain level around the 533 area before it's profitable, and you're going to be locking in those gains the further that it goes upwards. But again, you can take these, put them on together. Again, if I want to go over here and take one of them off, I can either not show one, it goes back to the long call only. If I had to put this back on, it goes to both. I can click this button to take the long call off, and it goes back to my short put. I can go back and forth in between. And again, if I want to add anything else, I go to add strategy, bullish, neutral, bearish, whatever it may be. And you can even add an empty strategy down here at the bottom where you're going to start from scratch, and you can add anything you want to build it out any way you want. If we go empty strategy number 1, we can save it. And now we can go ahead and just say new position, and we can add, let's say we want to add a 500 put. We want to add a 495 put, right? Let's say we want to sell this one, and we bought this one. So we've just created ourselves a little bull put spread there, where if you go on the chart and we go over, we can see that if the price stays a bit higher, we're going to be making some money, and not very much, but just max profit of 34.81. And you can see that we have a win rate of about 93% there for this bull put spread. And again, we start losing money anytime the price gets around that 500 area. So we have about $20 move we could have with this option setup. But this is all shown graphically for you in this chart, and you can save that and adjust it any kind of way you want to. You can even go back and rename it if you want to, clicking on these 3 dots right here. Rename it. Let's actually name it now. Bull put number 1, and it's in there. You can see it updating as we go. So that is the options trading function overall in TradingView, a pretty cool addition in terms of being able to plot your trades, understand kind of different volatility metrics, and see the options chain live while in trading without having to switch to your actual trading platform. That all stuff really cool. I think there are some features that are added that aren't the most kind of user-friendly, or the ones that maybe not be used the most, but hey, they're there for you if you want them. If you want to learn how to set up your charts now and actually understand how to track a company and set your company's stock chart up on TradingView for options trading, this is how I do it. You can see it all with a full walkthrough right here.